All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk with Maggie and Lucy. Hi, I'm Maggie, the substitute teacher. You may know me for my cooking channel. I make food and femininity content, and I cook with substitute ingredients. But together with Lucy, my bestie here, we are the proud founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, where we teach ladies of all ages in the real world how to lead with femininity, elegance, and etiquette to be the best version of themselves. And then twice a week, we like to give back here in the virtual world with you all, where we come in and we give you our take on relationship topics as the older women teaching the young. Together, we have over a combined 40 years of marriage experience. And today, speaking of marriage experience, is a very special day for somebody. Well, Lucy, please introduce yourself and let us know what are we reacting to today and anything else you might want to share.
Hi, Maggie. Hi, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. Yes, I'm Lucy. I have a small channel that the content is generally things about women over a certain age related to femininity, elegance, and just beautiful things about women. But today, my husband and I are celebrating our 17th wedding anniversary. So again, we've been married we've together for a while, together 20, now it's 21 years. And the way we're celebrating, baking him a lasagna right now. He's taking a nap. He just woke up. He's probably going to go into his studio, and that is the most eventful thing that we can do. Maybe over the weekend we'll go somewhere, have dinner or something, but when you are together for so many years, being together like this and just being there for each other is just the celebration.
Absolutely. So, what did you send us to learn from today?
Oh, yes. So it's the Whatever podcast. The Whatever podcast is a little controversial because sometimes it goes off the rails, and the content that is shared and the people that attend the as panelists are, it gets wild. But I think this content, that today's topic is about chivalry. And there's a man, his name is Andrew. I don't remember his last name, but he's very, I think he's Christian based, and he offers a really centered, balanced view about modern life. So this is going to be a good one.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll start on a high by saying congratulations and happy anniversary to Lucy and Mr. Lucy. We are so happy for another uneventful evening. So I am going to share my struggle screen and we're going to watch this video. It's about a 12-minute one. We've got Instagram, we've got TikTok. So we will play the video. We will play the video and pause it and give you all our take. Admittedly, I have heard of the Whatever podcast. I have never watched the Whatever podcast, so I don't know much about this content, but I always like to look for the teachable moments and see what we can learn from it. So your two disclaimers: Lucy and I are two older women from traditional backgrounds, immigrant families, nuclear families. We both married young, and so that is the perspective that we teach from. We promote marriage and long-term relationships, especially for our younger ladies, to take advantage of marriage and family in their prime. So if you want to do something other than that, that's totally fine. You just might not be happy over here. And then I have linked the video in the description. So if you want to watch it without our commentary, you are most welcome to. All right. I know just another mark says the Whatever podcast. Brace yourself, Maggie. I'm bracing already, y'all. I feel like another one is coming. But let me see what we can do here. I'm going to share my screen and mute myself and then press play and not touch it until we want to interject. All right.
Should a guy bring a girl flowers on the first date, Andrew?
I mean, I guess if he wants to. I don't really see, again, though, I don't really see why women in modernity deserve any type of chivalry. I still don't understand that. I still haven't heard a compelling argument for the idea that for some reason you deserve equality and status. It's like, that's not how that works. So I don't think so. I don't think the men should probably bring women anything on a first date, to be honest with you. I think it's a bad idea.
I'm with Michaela on this. I don't believe
Is
in
that how
getting-
you got your wife? By not giving her flowers?
All right, y'all. They're already going for it. Okay, so I was over here Googling. We've heard the term chivalry, but I just wanted to look it up a little bit. And it says, this is just a Google, y'all. Chivalry is a code of conduct that emphasizes honor, courage, and service. And one of the things I love to do in this etiquette space, Lucy knows that we teach this to the ladies, but I like to know the origin of some of the things that have become, best practice or good manners. And it says it was a system of behavior for knights in the middle period, and it refers to the idealization. So apparently the knights of the medieval period had a code of conduct, if you will, of what was honorable behavior. So now fast forward to the modern times, in this video that says, why don't they deserve chivalry? So ladies, what struck out to me that he said is we can't have equality and chivalry. So that means we have to choose. And we've been saying that, you can do whatever you want. Nobody's going to fight you. It's completely your life to decide. But ladies, we have to realize that if we are going to fight to be equal, and I always say we are not equal, we are equally valued, but we are very different. But those of you who want to fight for equality with men, it's going to cost you something. It's not going to come for free. So you're not going to be able to keep all the benefits of honor and chivalry and grace and manners and ladies first and women and children. All of that doesn't stay. And then you add on equality to men. So if you want to be considered to be equal to men, you are going to lose some of those social graces that you might have become accustomed to. So that's what stood out to me at first. Lucy, what would you add?
I love that historical part that you brought about chivalry. Notice that the first one who answered took it to the other end of the spectrum. So you didn't bring your wife flowers. And I'm thinking, why do you have to get to that point? You don't want to get the essence of the discussion. You just want to take it there. I remember, my first husband. For some of you who don't know, I've been married twice. My first husband, my first marriage lasted 11 years. Now I'm my forever marriage right now, celebrating 17 years. Both brought me flowers. My first one brought, roses for me, for my sisters, and my mom. My husband brought me orchids, and then he would, every time that we would go out on a date, he would bring an orchid for my mom just to put it on the windowsill. So again, men are still chivalrous as long as you are that feminine, delicate woman that they think that deserves those gifts, and you appreciate them too.
Yeah, such a good point. And I went on a rant on last week's episode about the honesty and integrity. And like Lucy says, if we show up like ladies, we are treated like ladies. But the key is, ladies, again, it has to be authentic and it has to be consistent. You're not going to be able to turn it on and turn it off. So you got a decision to make. And like I said, you own your own decisions. Like they say now, you have agency. Do whatever you want to. I'm old, but there's consequences and benefits for each one. We'll get back into the video, but I had a similar experience. I mean, you all know my story, married young, love being married, but even though I come from a traditional family, I had some modern woman tendencies, thinking the career, and that was really what was important, and it wasn't. So unfortunately, it ended in divorce after 10 years and 2 kids. But second time around for me, and now long term, I got on the program, and I'll never forget, because I used to be and still can be a lot. I'm your favorite extrovert, but I started doing my own self-work, if you will, and taking etiquette classes and really trying to soften and lead with femininity. Once I learned that really is your superpower and where I'm genuinely the happiest. And my man took me out once and the wine came to the table and he said, the lady gets the first pour. And inside I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a lady. I was so excited, y'all, because, you know, I can kind of pull up on two wheels and kind of be a lot, and that's not always appropriate. So you will be recognized for how you present yourself as long as it's consistent and authentic. So let's see what you all are saying in the chat, and then we're going to go back into the video. Rebecca is here. Discipled One is shouting out, Lucy, yes, 17 years. We love it. We love love, and we celebrate marriage over here. We think we're better together. Just Another Mark says, the Whatever podcast? Yeah, absolutely. And Just Another Mark says, Andrew is always based on the Whatever podcast. He tells it like it is. Y'all, I hate to say, I don't know what based means. I'm old. Y'all gonna have to let me know. Just Another Mark says, we all get what we deserve every moment of our lives, an opportunity to go and get whatever it is that we want. If anyone doesn't like it or think that's unfair, take it up with God. Yes. Happy New Year.
Based means cool. Pretty good.
Well, I clearly am not based because I didn't know what it meant. But you know what? As long as y'all know what I means, I'm fine with it. I'll be 50 this year. So let's go back into the video and see what else we can learn.
Yeah.
W's in the chat for Andrew. And he's the only one here who's married.
Yeah.
Boom. How about that?
Yeah.
How about them apples?
Maybe if you didn't want flowers, you'd be married.
I'm
shit.
21, so I would rather not be married right now. Thank you.
I mean, it's
Well, I mean, if you keep demanding flowers, it's going to be 41.
I never
And then
demanded
you can have
anything.
cats.
I've never demanded anything. I've just had very sweet boyfriends.
What
that
are
were
your
very
cat's
fun.
names going to be anyway? Fluffy? You're going to
I
have one
mean,
named Fluffy?
I don't really think it's smart to have a cat on a boat.
Are you gonna give, do you think you're going to give them people names? Like Chuck? You're going to call like Chuck and Fred? You're going to give your cat people names? You're going to be people named cats?
That's a very great question. Please ask me in 5 years when I'm 26 and apparently washed up.
20? Who said 26? What are you talking about?
You're saying that because I'm 21 and not married, that's, you know, me thinking that flowers are sweet are the reason for that. That's idiotic. That does not make any sense. I'm not saying I demand flowers. I'm saying that a gentleman that brings me
that a
flowers is
perfectly
very
good
sweet.
joke. I know a perfectly good joke can hurt your feelings for no particularly good reason, even though I'm clearly kidding. But perhaps you can take a breath and actually respond to my argument instead. So here's my actual position. My actual position is that chivalry gives women additional status that men do not receive. Therefore, if women want egalitarianism or equality, they don't deserve additional status. You see?
And
That's
what do
my
you mean
actual
by
position.
status? I understand what you're saying. I want to understand it further. So what do you mean by status?
Okay, well, men get on the lifeboats last. Men are expected to protect women. Men are expected to not hit women back. Men are expected to go to frontline warfare and combat and a draft. Women are not. The list is endless, in fact, of the statuses in which women get in society that men do not, due to this idea of chivalry, which is hundreds of years old now, which is carried over when women were given this special status in society because men had the authority. Now that men do not have that authority and women are equal, why do women deserve this chivalric status? Why do they deserve it? I don't see why they do.
So you believe that kind gestures like flowers are comparable to front lines in the war?
Can you just repeat back what I said so I know that you got it?
I heard what you said.
All right, y'all, it's starting to unravel here. A couple things stood out to me. So we have this man in the center. I believe this is Andrew. And so he's taken on this whole panel of women. And I just think it's fascinating. Ladies, I hear this often from the men that we want, the men that I talk to. And it's a little hard to hear, and you can fight it. You can go down with the ship with your fist in the air, but you will not win. you will never win with a resolute man. You just won't. And I think it's very telling when you look at this table of women, there's always one that, as my man would say, runs head first into the buzzsaw, right? Instead of, like Lucy said, listening and maybe answering the question, she started with an insult. And you all know, we remember the late, great Kevin Samuels, the shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right, the sign language. But when he was talking about, I don't think modern women who demand equality deserve chivalry, her first little quip was, is that how you got your wife? So basically, trying to make it a personal attack when he was saying, he was making a statement about his opinion. So it's going to continue to go on, but I think it's interesting looking at the other women. I don't know if anyone else is going to speak at all, but there's one who is just going to, demonstrate how smart she is, or how smart she thinks she is, by taking on this older man toe to toe. And so she said she's 21? Just a blanket statement, ladies. I would encourage you, instead of thinking that you're better than men or smarter than men, to try and take the opportunity to learn from men, because we've talked about this a lot. Men do not waste their words. So especially when an older man is speaking, I think it would behoove you to listen first and then respond only if necessary. What would you add, Lucy?
So true. And the fact that the level of disrespect, I mean, I go back to when I was 21. I would never in my life would have thought I would be going back and forth with an older man out of just pure respect. And it might be that this young lady never had that father figure available. Thank you, Swavdi, for that $10. Thank you so much. Available to learn about, the level of just respect that you should have in a conversation setting, especially when you're showing your face to millions of people. Now at 21, men are saying, oh, if she's that combative at 21, imagine when she gets to 30, nobody's going to want her. And that's why he made that mention about the cats. She's going to be, an elderly lady with cats and not a husband. So hopefully this will be a learning experience to her, to maybe watch herself later on and say, wow, I was really out of pocket. I doubt it, but here we are.
Here we are. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. But yes, again, let me say thank you so much to Swavdi for the $10. Always so consistent. We appreciate the men so much. And NW, yes, we are live. Lucy and I are with you all on Wednesday evenings and Saturday afternoons to give you our take. Just another mark says, Maggie, you are indeed based. Thank you. Now that I know it's a compliment, I can learn too. I don't know everything. That's something that young lady might need to tell herself. Discipled One says, Andrew is the type of guy that'll whoop their behind with his voice. And I think that's really interesting. We will listen to what he's saying, but we will also listen to how he's saying it. Do you notice? And this comes with maturity, but do you notice how he is just stating matter-of-factly? I don't know if she's going to get wrapped up in her emotions, but that lack of impulse control that she just had to jump in there. Like Lucy, I cannot imagine being 21 and opening my mouth to a man that is my father's age to talk to him like a peer. I don't know what these new kids are doing, but I was never that grown. Like, I do not understand it, but here she goes diving in. So we'll see how he handles her. Let's see what else you all. Oh, Erin Laura's been supporting 31 months. She says, good evening, Maggie and Lucy. Please hit the like on your way in. Thank you all for liking the live stream and sharing the content. We appreciate it. But this is our heart to help, especially the young women who want a traditional relationship in these modern times. And thank you for the support. I do have membership starting at $5 a month for ongoing support, completely optional. And we are so grateful. And good evening, everyone. All right, so let's go back in and let's see what else this young lady has to say.
Dad, what you were
Then
saying is
repeat
that
it, then repeat it back to me so that I know then I know you understand what I'm saying.
okay, that's
What's my actual
condescending.
position on this?
How I understood it, which you can correct me if I'm wrong in my understanding, was that you see the fact that, you know, men have a lower position in society compared to women, right? When it comes to the fact that women are not going to be drafted, that men have other, you know, issues that they have to deal with that women are kind of put back for. Women do not, you know, have to be expected to let their man first get on the lifeboat if there's, you know, a ship that's sinking. I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand how a kind action of somebody giving you flowers is comparable to the
Then why
issues
not?
that
Then
men
why
have to
shouldn't
go
you're right.
through on a
So
day-to-day
then
basis.
I guess men are kinder than women if you expect that men then will bring you flowers and you won't bring them
I don't
flowers.
expect it. I do think that that is, you know, fair to say that it is a kind gentleman to bring you flowers. I can
That
agree
it
with
would
you
be
on
a
that.
kind woman who brought
And
the
I have
gentleman the
also
flower.
brought, yeah, I've also brought my boyfriend flowers. There's
Well,
no
shouldn't you
argument
guys be
there.
competing over who's kinder then? And on the
No,
first date, shouldn't the woman be bringing the man flowers to show how kind she is?
that's fair. I have done that on a first date. It's a respect thing. It's
Yeah,
showing
how many
respect to
times on the
other
first
people.
date have you brought flowers versus you have flowers brought to you?
Okay, well,
So you're just meaner than all the men you date, aren't you? Just say, Andrew, by my own logic, I'm meaner than all of the men I date because I don't bring them flowers and they bring me flowers. Go ahead.
there's different ways to show affection rather than just gifts. You can show affection through acts of service, whether that's, you know, cooking them a meal, whether that's, you know, setting up the date itself, whether that's, you know, them teaching you a new skill, you teaching them a new skill. I've taken people on dates where I've taught them how to ride motorcycles or to sail
Yeah, but
or
that sounds like an exchange. I thought you were talking about acts of kindness. So if you're
Right.
talking about acts of kindness and not an exchange, and you say it's a very kind thing for people to show up and give me flowers, well, wouldn't it be, and it's a very kind thing if you show up and give them flowers, then why is it that more men are being more kind to you than you are to them? Can you explain that
why
to me?
is it a competition between who's kinder? Why isn't it just
You're the one who
somebody
made it a
courting?
competition because you said it's an act of kindness and gentlemanly men should do it.
I
Okay,
was saying
that's
that
true.
I was saying that it was kind when men do this. You know, when men do give flowers, that is an act of generosity. That is an act of
And
generosity.
more men
That's
have brought you flowers than you've brought men flowers. So therefore, by that logic, men are way kinder to you than you are to men. Yeah.
Okay, this is where I give up. I don't have it in me. Those of you all that can go 12 rounds and go toe to toe, whatever that gene is, I don't have it. I would just cry uncle and bend the knee. But I'm fascinated with, again, how logical he is and the fact that he's just smoking a cigarette because he does not care. Oh, I haven't seen this, so I'm seeing this for the first time. Okay, so what's happening here? What can we learn from it? He's making an argument that is so logical. She's missing the fallacy of her point and her perspective, because what she's saying is that, no, I don't expect it, but that's just the nice thing to do. That's just the gentleman thing to do. That's just a kind thing to do. Okay. And like Mr. Andrew is saying, is that, okay, these are gestures, like I said, from Google, that came from times past where men had a certain level of authority, men had a certain level of respect. Again, that honor code, men were expected to do certain things because they had certain responsibilities in society. So ladies, if you're going to strip that away from men, if you're going to say, you're no better than me, I'm equal to you, I have just the same amount of rights and power and privilege and education opportunities and job opportunities and all of that, that's fine. But now we have put ourselves on the same playing field as a man. So we no longer, by his logic, have the right to say, well, that's a gentlemanly thing to do. That's a kind thing to do. I would appreciate that if you brought me flowers or whatever that gesture is on the first date, because we aren't giving men that honor and respect anymore. They don't have that privilege anymore, that level of control. So his logic is, if we're equal, if I'm bringing you flowers, you need to bring me flowers. So then if you connect the dots and she says, oh no, I've gotten flowers on a date. And he says, have you done the same? Well, sometimes. he's basically connecting the dots to say, well, you're not that nice. If all things are equal and other people are caring for you more than you're caring for them, what does that say about you? Again, y'all, I do not have the brain power for these type of arguments with men. I just listen and learn and go live my life. But this 21-year-old wanted to go toe to toe with this man. So we'll see what else happens. Lucy, what would you add?
And she said she has a boyfriend. I feel bad for the boyfriend if he has to put himself into that back and forth on a daily basis. I can't imagine. She must be exhausting. And notice that it was like constant goalpost moving. It's like he said something and then she went around and she twisted it to make it justify in a different way, and then she twisted it back to make it justify it in a different way. It was like one of those, what is it, the Disneyland ride, Mr. Toad's Crazy Ride, with all those different things. And she also, at the beginning, when he asked her, can you repeat what I said just to make sure you got the concept? The first thing that she said was, that's condescending. Why is it condescending? That he wants to know that his point is being understood. It's just, this is the way that he dissects some of those arguments is just beautiful, fascinating, and it's just, he's got a wife who writes about feminism. So these two together are amazing. I love them both.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just here for the tennis match, y'all. I'm watching this tug of war. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. But Lucy does bring up a really good point, ladies. Remember, I tell us oftentimes we think about the moment, and I think it hurts us because we are short-sighted about the future. So this young woman thinks she's going to get that point with this man. She thinks she's going to wrestle him to the ground and show him who's boss. But again, the internet is forever. And so now at 21, the first image or the lasting image that people will have of you is, oh, you're one of those. You can't never just say, okay, I understand. You've got to have that last word. You've got to have that get back or that clap back, or you've got to, tit for tat. That's just who you are. And remember, young ladies especially, men are not looking at the interaction with us just for right now. They're thinking about, how is this going to play out for the next 5 years, 20 years, 50 years? Do I want to live with this? So a lot of times, ladies, sometimes we think, oh, it wasn't that big a deal. You hear people say it's not that serious, but to the man, it is, because if you're going to argue me if you're going to argue me down, if you're going to try and wrestle me to the ground about something simple, what happens when there's a real decision, a real conflict, a real family issue, financial issue, or health issue? It's not a good look. And I'm listening to her, but I'm looking at all the other women around the table, and I don't know any of these people, but none of them have decided to, tag you're it and WWE it and say, yeah, let me get some of that. They're watching this tennis match too. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying in the comments. NW says woman or not the same as women. I don't understand that one. All right, so good evening. Erin Laura is here. We've got some comments for Lucy. She's going back and forth. And Lucy said, yes, Kevin Samuel said to be quick to listen and slow to speak. And ladies, especially those of us who like to talk, less is more. And this has been a lesson that I have had to learn. When you talk too much, you will be tuned out and your words will be less impactful. And one of the things I've had to work on is to think before I speak. I used to just think as I was speaking and the words would just come out, word salad, and I would hope they would land and make sense. And then you're having to re-correct, or what I meant by that. Take a moment, listen, process it, and then say something that makes sense if it's necessary. All right. We have One Man Gang says, I love what you ladies are doing. The young ladies desperately need guidance. Well, thank you for saying that. That's our heart. And you're trying to learn to be a better woman. I hope this is helpful. And yes, Erin Laura's been rocking with us. Gosh, almost 3 years I've had this channel. And Lucy said, yeah, that poor boyfriend. I wonder what her boyfriend is thinking of this interaction. I always think about the way that I carry myself and how it represents my man. And honestly, that keeps me in check. Sometimes, I just want to be a little extra, but I'm like, no, he wants a first lady. I need to carry myself that way. And that helps me. All right. The taste of leather is coming out of his mouth. I don't understand that one either. All right, you all are liking it. Let's see. Discipled one says, Maggie and Lucy, you have me say this multiple times. If you act like a lady, you will get treated like one. If you act like a man, you will get treated like one. So again, ladies, your choice, all right? So I don't know. We'll see. I don't like to call names, but yeah, just whatever you all think about relationships. Do you think if you were her boyfriend or if you're a woman, do you think that this makes your boyfriend look good the way you're carrying yourself? Lucy's talking about the teacup ride. All right, let's go back in.
So do I have to
Can you
care?
answer my question? Can you answer my question?
I'm
By
answering.
your logic, it's kind to bring flowers, and more men bring you flowers than you bring men flowers. The men are kinder to you than you're men. Is that correct or not correct?
It's flawed logic.
Oh, okay. How?
Because it's not whether or not, I brought them flowers or they brought me flowers. It's them doing something that is kind towards me, right? Which, yes, in that scenario, that would be them being kinder on the first date. However, I have not dated that many men, and I have not, exchanged flowers with that many men. That's not like something, it's a Tuesday, I'm going to go on a date so I can get flowers. Like, that is an evil intention to just use men for a purpose like that. Yes, have men given me more flowers than I've given them? Sure. Does that mean that I am cruel because I
I
didn't
don't know
bring
what that
flowers?
has to do with anything. You're just utilizing your metric. I'm not saying you're an unkind person.
I don't understand
I'm just saying
why
that
this is
men are
worthy of a
really kinder to
conversation.
you. I'm not saying you're an unkind person. I'm not saying you're mean. I'm not saying you're cruel. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying that if it is the case that flowers equals kindness and kind act, and more men bring you flowers than you bring them,
Then they
then more
started
men
with
are
a
acting
kinder
kindly
act.
towards you than you're acting towards them. It's very simple.
That I can agree with. They were kinder to me in the beginning. That is fair. That is a fair assessment. Now, does that mean that, what you're saying is that you started with, I am crueler to men than men are to me, that men are kinder to me than I am to them? That's not a fair assumption, but are you saying that they did a kinder gesture to me on a
what I'm
first date?
saying is
Then
very
yes.
simple, is that if you demand these additional statuses in society, like men have the chivalry.
I don't demand additional.
Gentlemanly men open my car door. Gentlemanly men will bring me flowers. Gentlemanly men will pay for the first date.
Sir, with respect.
Hold on.
Let me finish,
You got to
please.
let him finish, then you can respond.
And then
Go
I'll
ahead.
let you talk. I promise. Just relax. Okay. Gentlemanly men will do all of these things for me, right? That's very nice of them to do all those things for you. What are you doing for them? Well, you're not doing anything because, well, that's what gentlemanly men do. So you're putting yourself at a status, you're giving yourself additional status that men don't have. And what I'm saying is like, why the fuck should they do that? That sounds really stupid. If women are indeed equal to men, why waste their time? It makes no sense.
That's fair. And that is not how I am. If men are doing all these things, right? I know how to fix. I live on a sailboat, right? So I've learned how to fix my boat. I've created this future for my future partner where we can travel around the world and I will be able to fix the engine, which I just did last week. I had to fix my heat exchanger. I can do my own septic, my plumbing. I can do my own woodworking. I have fixed many things on my boat and I'm continuing to learn those skills so that it is an equal partnership. Now you're saying men are expected to do all these things.
Oh my goodness. Where do I even begin? Bring back the romance has just gone out of the window. I'm so sorry, but okay, ladies, let me try and not have an emotional response. One of the things that Mr. has said is that 50-50 goes out the window at our age. Y'all can talk about that. It is always fascinating to me that the women that are talking about 50-50 in partnership, I think she says she's 21. Ladies, you don't have to believe me and Lucy, but find any woman our age that's like, yeah, absolutely, it can be a partnership. One of the things that I've said, young ladies especially, is that we are not built for it. And I remember being headstrong and being, all that talk when you're young. But 10 kids, 10 years, 2 kids, life just takes a toll on us. And then what happens is we're desperately looking for someone to rescue us from ourselves. But if you had this type of mindset where, I can do everything a man can do, the men are going to, like my man will say, help you mean what you say and leave you right there. The thing that struck me too, did you hear her when she said, I live on a sailboat? So I've created a lifestyle where my partner can come in and we can sail the world together. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this from women that I talk to. So ladies, no man and no man that you wants to come and fit into the life that you have created. That is backwards and that is out of order and that is not traditional. All right. We look to men to create their life and then we are a helpmate to them. If you want marriage, okay, if you want to do something other, then that's totally fine. But if you create this life and then you just have your man there as a plus one, as the Ken doll, you will grow to disrespect him. You will grow to resent him. You will grow to look at him and say, I did all of this. All right. So all that she's talking about, that she's created this life and, she's going to make it an equal partnership. Find me, young lady, when you're 31. Find me when you're 41 and you're still fixing that sailboat and your man is happy to just sail the world with you. It's not reality. So ladies, don't fall for that trap. What would you say, Lucy?
She is so sad. I can't imagine her. I don't think that she has the capacity to imagine herself at 30 or at 40. I can't imagine myself at 58 trying to maneuver a sailboat. You know how hard it is? I have seen it in the movies. And even by watching it in the movies, I want no part of it. I want my husband to pay for a sailboat to be managed, me and him drinking mimosas, watching them work on the. So this young lady, she thinks that she can manage exactly right like that. Mimosas, getting our breakfast ready in the morning, and the lunch ready. But I cannot imagine me or my husband working a sailboat. I'm sure that my husband would probably do, because I think he did it when he was younger, out of fun. But I don't think, living in a sailboat. Who does? I mean, she's living like if it was like a Hallmark movie. It's that kind of insane, Disney World, Hallmark, thinking that the world is like a movie without, understanding reality. She might live in a sailboat for 1-2 years. Soon she will be selling that sailboat. Just like these van life people, like these, I live in my car and I'm loving it. It's, once they find hardship, they're going to say, no, this is too much for me. Let me get something else. And that's the easy life that we as women have. We can't give up that life. Whereas men, once they have the hardship, they have to go with it. They have to fight and they have to, because that's what life is for them from beginning to end.
Absolutely. I want to see what you all are saying in the chat, but ladies, it's so true. And I do. I mean, she's very confused, but God bless her. She'll figure it out one day. Hopefully it's not too late. But yes, this whole thing about, I've created this life or I'm living, whatever type of vagabond life that she lives. Ladies, here's the thing. Men understand. And the reason why men kind of laugh at you when you make these ridiculous statements like, we can live on my sailboat, or I've created this life, or everything's perfect. Come on in, the water is fine. Men are not fools, and they know that as soon as hardship comes, as soon as those winds are too strong for her to navigate that sailboat, and I have never done it. Lucy and I are actually going out on a yacht with the finishing school ladies, and you all are welcome to join us for our Maggie Lou meetup. We only do it once a year. Tickets are available at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com if you want to join us for happy hour at Eclipse de Luna here in Atlanta on Friday, April 4th. But my point is this, ladies, men know that the buck stops with them. Men know that when the you know what hits the fan, everybody's going to be looking at them like, how are you going to fix it? That is why when you come with these grandiose ideas, somebody that's very dear to me, she had this idea of, you know what, I just want to travel the world, and I want me and my husband, I want our kids to have multiple languages, and I just see myself traveling with the baby in the little front carrier, and we're just going to be living here and going there. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of made up fantasy is that? I mean, that's why, ladies, men are not even going to give you time to hear about these stories because they know it's wishful thinking. They know it's wish upon a star. They know as soon as, the nights are cold, the days are long, the sun is hot, the baby's sick, you are not feeling well, we're going to expect them to pick up the pieces. That is why men had the say so. That is why men have the responsibility, because they were the ones that were going to have to be able to carry the load. So if you want to live on that sailboat and, maneuver and do all that stuff when you're 65, I guess, have at it. All right, let's see what you all are saying in the chat, and then we will go back in. All right. All right. Yes. Okay. So Lucy says the wife's name is Rachel Wilson, and she's the author of the book Occult Feminism, The Secret History of Women's Liberation. So yes, you all have a book read if you're interested. Discipled One says, stop it, Andrew. I'm tapping out. I tapped out in the beginning. Oh, and ladies, here's a free one. Interrupting is incredibly rude. I don't know what that is, but I'm watching the way she is just like, she can't even wait for him to finish. She's got to, try and take him down. No man wants to deal with that. And the men that you want won't deal with that. All right. Y'all are telling her to listen. We'll see if it works. Y'all say she can't help herself. And Lucy heard that. Y'all heard the language. She said, yes, I'm planning this sailboat life for my future partner. There is no man on this earth. Well, the men that we want are not waiting for you to build a life for them. They're not. All right. You all are finding this unbelievable. Thank you all for hitting the like. We appreciate it. Just another Mark heard it too. He says partnership. Expletive. I hate the use of that word in intimate romantic relationships. And that's true. Did you all, if you remember, I said, I felt the romance leave the conversation when she starts talking about, I live on this sailboat and all the stuff she's doing, or I can bring flowers. But the romance comes from, that polarity that Sarah Bodenova talks about. We are better together. Men have strengths that we don't, ladies. Women have strengths that men don't. This was never intended for us to be tag team WWE ring fighters. When you all see me cringe at the word partnership, I'm thinking of those after school wrestling shows where we're wrestling and you're in the ring, and then when you're ready, you tap my hands and I'm supposed to jump in and fight just like you. Not today. That is not going to happen. So we are not partners. Okay, maybe life partners, but this is not a 50-50 partnership, because ladies, be honest with yourself. We're not trying to do what men do like they do it. All right. Discipled One says, this is a video demonstration of the Board of Education applied to the seat of correction. Oh my goodness, y'all are agreeing. B Stone says, the other part is, why do these girls fight so hard to work? Kiss, keep it simple, silly. Be attractive, be submissive, and live a great life. Why fight to work? And I'll say something, my man said this a long time ago, and he said, all this young energy, ladies, we have that young energy for a reason, but it's not the reason to be combative. It's the reason to build that family, be wives and mothers. It does take a lot of that, but we are repositioning that fight that we have. We should be fighting for our families, not fighting against our men. So you're taking that fight, you're taking it out, and you're using it for things that don't benefit you in the long run. And then you get 40, 45, 50, and you're asking, where are all the good men? You shooed them away. That's what happened. Suave D says, sorry, but I'm not interested in a partnership. That's like a curse word to masculine men. Traditional men like myself are searching for wives. All right, let's go back in and I'll come back to the rest of y'all's comments.
I'm not expecting a man to do all these things and I just sit back and act like some helpless damsel in distress.
You can do your own woodworking?
Yes, I can. I actually am a woodworker.
Yeah. Do you use a wood lathe?
No, I do not use wood lay. Wood
How
on
do
a
you
sailboat?
work? How do you don't use a wood lathe? Do you use a router?
No, I do not. I have a
You
sailboat.
don't use a router? What do you use to do woodworking?
I use a hand saw or a circular saw. I use.
How do you well, how are you working the wood
wood
with a
is different.
circular saw? What are you talking about? That's not woodworking. That's wood cutting.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
not woodworking. Do you know what woodworking is?
Yes, I do. I do woodworking
What
on
is
a
it?
sailboat. It's different. It's okay. I don't know what you want from me. You just
Oh,
want
I'm
to
just
argue
very
with me.
confused. I thought you were a woodworker.
No,
I don't know
that's
what
not my
tools you're using to
profession,
work
but it
with.
is something that I'm learning how to do in order to take care of my sailboat, which I can then provide that lifestyle for my partner. So just because I don't.
Learning what?
Okay. Okay. I've had to fix multiple things on my boat, right? Like I had to create a table. Okay. So I had to learn how to take the wood and sand it to the right shape, right? I had to learn how to cut things. I had to use different saws. I had to use, different like linseed oil, right? To protect it. I've had to use different, I've had to
You
learn
mean
how to work
basic
with
maintenance?
vinyl. Yeah, basic woodworking is my knowledge so far. I never said I was an expert. I'm saying I'm learning.
Yeah, I mean that's not even basic woodworking. It's just basic
Okay.
maintenance. But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, fair enough. I'm just saying. I'm just curious. Like I'm just asking when you say I do woodworking, how you do woodworking? What do you do woodworking with? I'm just curious. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm learning still. It's not like I'm a carpenter, like I'm not that level. I'm in marketing. Like I'm learning how to do these things on my own. Now, if you ask me about septic, I can tell you a lot because I had to fix mine last month. But it's not like I'm a professional. So do I expect men to do everything for me? No. I'm learning how to take care of myself, and so that I can also help my partner understand and learn and take care of these things as well. I don't expect men to save me. I do appreciate a man who is a gentleman, but that doesn't mean that I am expecting every man to care for me like a child. And
It sounds like you agree with me then that there's no good reason for men to give women
But
additional
flowers
status.
is a gesture of kindness. That's a gesture of respect. It's not an issue of
You can't show people respect unless you open their door and give them flowers.
I never said that I expect every
Isn't
man
it
to
a
open my
bigger
door.
sign of respect to treat you exactly as an equal? Wouldn't that be the biggest sign of respect?
I do agree with that. And so, like I said,
And
I've
let's get
given
rid
men
of this
flowers.
evil status of toxic femininity,
That's
where
fair.
they demand additional status in society that they don't deserve when we should be treating them like the equals they demand we treat.
Okay, so what is your definition of toxic femininity? What do you mean by that? What is,
A demand for
going on?
additional status is based on old chivalric codes that are undeserved whenever you at the same time demand equality. So I would say toxic femininity is the demand of Schrodinger's feminists who claim, here's the Schrodinger's feminist. You are both the biggest victim on planet Earth while at the same time the most badass badass woman on planet Earth. And depending on what circumstance you're in, you'll use either one of those. Either you're
That's
super
fair.
oppressed or you're badass. That's Schrodinger's feminist.
That's fair.
What
That's
toxic
fair.
femininity is just saying, look, if you're demanding additional statuses in society while you're demanding equality in society, then you're not demanding equality in society. You're
Okay.
demanding status.
That was painful. But let's unpack and see what we can learn from this. Oh my goodness, make it stop. A couple things stood out to me, ladies. I think I'll start with the end and then I'll go to the point that stood out to me. So toxic femininity, that's a first. Ladies, we got to be able to take it. If we're going to dish it, it's coming right back to us. And I don't think we know what we're asking for. So the point that he was making here is that, okay, you want to be equal, stop asking for status. And then did you hear her say, well, I don't think flowers or I don't think those kind gestures are status. Actually, it is, ladies. If you look at the argument on its face, if I'm going to be equal, you're no better than me, you get no more than me. So that means, ladies, you got to let go of all of the things that maybe we don't realize we get as benefits just by being women. And I think if we take time to think about, if it's a stretch too far to think about how difficult life is for the men that we want, maybe think to yourself, here's your homework assignment. Think to yourself, what privilege have you experienced just by being a woman that you did not do anything to earn, but just by being a lady? Did someone open up a door for you? Did someone offer to carry something for you? Did someone move you to the front of the line? Did anything happen in this last week? Ask yourself if you've gotten any privilege just by being a woman. And then ask yourself, are you willing to let all of that go if equality is that important to you? All right. The other thing that stood out to me, and again, I am not mechanical. I have some skills, but I will tell you, I don't do tools. I don't know any of this stuff. But when she's talking about, I'm a woodworker, ladies, we have to be very careful about this, because my man will tell you, this is an argument, another one that you're not going to win with the men who want to know. And here's what he said. This is why women are so good in school. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. He said, women just want to get the grade, to get the check mark, to get the diploma, but men actually want to learn. And I was like, oh boy. So the reason why he was able to ask these questions about woodworking, which I admittedly know nothing about, the different blades and all these things, men that actually say, I am a woodworker, or I am a mechanic, or I work HVAC, they actually are doing the thing. He asked me, he was like, how does that air conditioning work? I said, I do not know, sir. He was like, how does that plumbing work? I said, I do not know, but I turn on that faucet and that water comes out. How does your car work? I sure don't know, but when I turn the key, it comes on. I think, ladies, there's a lot that we've taken for granted that was built from nothing. And then we get to the point where we're just maintaining it and we're saying, I'm able to do that. It's not true. That's like me saying I'm a mechanic when I know I take my car to the dealership and I let them do the oil change and they change the sticker and they give it back to me. But because I know it's time for an oil change, that's like me calling myself a mechanic. Long-winded version of that is insulting to the men who actually do the work and who actually are experts of their craft. So again, she's young, she's headstrong, and he really checked her because, you know, she went from I'm a woodworker to I'm not an expert, I'm still learning. A little humility goes a long way. What would you add, Lucy?
And it's interesting how she said, I want to create a lifestyle for my partner. That is a man. I hear my husband saying that about the lifestyle that he's created for me. That is such a manly thing to say. She doesn't realize that, you know, that was probably a complete turnoff for the boyfriend if the boyfriend is masculine. Now, if the boyfriend, you know, has, you know, different ideas of what masculinity is, then maybe, you know, he's not going to care. But that was such a manly thing to say. And towards the end, even though Andrew was kind of, you know, teaching her, you know, he won the battle of the, you know, logic. She was so embarrassed. She looked like a tomato. She was embarrassed. She turned red like a tomato. And even then, instead of saying, you know what, you got me, she continued to dig a deeper hole in making a fool of herself, you know, while Andrew was just smoking a cigarette, just giving her, you know, the logic and, you know, I'm going to teach this little girl how it truly is.
It's so true. And if you all, this was a lot to take in, but the video is about 12 minutes. I encourage you to watch it maybe without sound because the back and forth is a lot. But look at the body language towards the end. The other thing I picked up on, because remember, she was the only one who spoke. She went head first up against this man who could be her father's age. And she's going toe to toe with him until, he basically, cleaned the floor with her. And then, like Lucy said, not only did she get red, but her body language, she starts looking left and right to the other women and kind of did this thing like, like, y'all aren't going to help me. And did you notice how nobody else jumped in there? So these are the things that I'm picking up on. It's just fascinating because she realized that she had stepped in it. She realized that she was, in over her head. But again, her ego would not allow her to realize, you know what, I don't know everything. Y'all, I fall on my sword and tell on myself all the time. But ladies, that is a beautiful feminine quality to be able to admit that you are coachable, that you can learn some things. Now, before you all come for me, I know there are women that actually do these type of jobs. I see y'all out there on the construction sites. Hats off to you. I know I can't do it. I will keep that apron on 24 hours a day. But yes, there are women that, maybe are electricians or women that can actually do the work. And there are also women that like to maybe like revamp furniture and do these home remodeling things. I get it. And I with respect, I understand. But this woman, this young woman, is trying to pretend like she's just like a man because she she saw a YouTube video. And speaking of a YouTube video, Disciple One is here with the 1999 saying, I love this program. We need more Maggies and Lucys on the internet, but I need your robe sizes because you two are preaching. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Let's see what you all are saying here. And then we will wrap this one up. So yes, Lucy was saying, we don't know about the boyfriend if he's very masculine, but ladies, the men that you want, they're not having this. They will leave you right there on that sailboat to sail across the world and figure it out. All right. Okay. So let's see what else you all are saying. And we're getting confirmation here. So Disciple One says, bottom line, ladies, this woman doesn't like to be challenged. And Andrew responded with, really? His demeanor the whole time. That's another thing, ladies, and I see this with some of the women that I talk to. Ladies, we have to stop thinking that we are special and that we are unique. We are more alike than we maybe want to believe and we want to admit. And men have seen woman ways or female nature long before we showed up. So I think you all would help yourself by not thinking that, no, you got to listen to me or you got to hear about my upbringing or I had this special circumstance. They have mothers, sisters, cousins. They have seen this before. They see us long coming. So it's much better if you're just honest and realize that you don't know everything. We don't know everything, but the men that we want, they respond to the humility and, like Lucy says, the delicacy of a woman. All right. And W is saying, what's his wife name or the channel? Okay, so Lucy shared that. You want the robe sizes. All right, let's see. Okay, we shared that. Uh-oh, is she a fun girl? I hope not. I hope not. I hope she watched herself and realized, if you challenge a man, he will take you up on it. And ladies, if you step out there, the other women aren't going to risk their reputation and their chance to come save you from yourself. So if you're Billy Badtail, be ready to handle it. All right. Oh my goodness. Yes, we do not care for the partner thing at all. All right. All right. I'm just trying to see where we got back to. Yes, we talked about women fighting so hard to work and be alone. Yeah, it's hard to understand. We have Rockin' Keto. Amy says, hello, everyone. First time here. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So glad to have you. Chris says, I'm just curious. Is she looking for a follower or a leader? Oh, such a good question. Did you hear her language? I've built a lifestyle. I have a sailboat. I know how to woodwork. I've provided so many things that were just a masculine way of talking. Again, it sounds like she wants to buy the ring. She wants to propose and she wants to get a man to get on her program. And I love this language. Thank you, Chris, for that. Ladies, the men that we want are natural leaders. You notice it when they walk into the room, when they step in this space. And I'll say it, ladies, if the man that you have or the man that you want doesn't make you sit up straight when you come in the room, I would really question if that's somebody you can fall in line behind. But relationships are different. Y'all do what you want to do. All right. Lucy says she's probably looking for a follower until she starts resenting him for it and will leave him for a leader. Ooh, y'all. Be careful what you wish for, ladies. That partnership, my man will tell you, that partnership 50-50 goes out the window when you get our age. Y'all are enjoying this one. Thank you, Legacy. We appreciate it. Yeah, wrestling to the ground. And just another mark says, every time she says partner, I lose brain cells. Oh, goodness. But Ballerina's here saying, listening attentively and taking notes. Wonderful. So young ladies, yes, you can learn from others what to do and what not to do. Rebecca says, yeah, it sounds like she wants to be the man. And B Stone says, the more she talks, the less hot she becomes. This is an interesting perspective, ladies. Humility is attractive to men. Femininity is attractive to men. That's why it really is our superpower. You don't have to believe us. Listen to the men. They're here talking. Y'all are smelling a verbal tap out. And woodworking is not maintaining. Yes. Yeah, she wants to be superwoman. Yeah, absolutely. Schrodinger's feminist. I'm learning this for the first time. It's a hilarious take. Somehow simultaneously, the perfect victim and the strongest, most independent woman who never needs a man. Circling back to, ladies, we got to choose. You can't have it both ways. Toxic femininity is real. And Erin Laura says, I worked in a warehouse for 10 years and had privilege every day. They carry my boxes, take my pallets out of products, send me on break early for a longer break, a lot. God bless the men. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Oh my gosh, y'all are still here. Thank you so much, Chadwick, Reason Frazier, for the $20. You should see the responses I get when I'm asked what I want. Are your plans for the next 5 years? And I say to retire my wife. Then I explain to them all that she does for women really do today for men. Oh, I absolutely love that. So many good comments tonight. Lucy, what would you say to wrap us up?
I just wish that young ladies that want to be married, that wish to have a traditional family, to start listening to what the men are saying. Again, there's the concept about, you are going to watch what the market is willing to purchase. So your market is men. You're going to meet what the men want from us. And again, we already have it. We just have to stop fighting fighting against it, because it's in us. Stop listening to these women that want you to be masculine, because it's probably those older women that never got the masculine men that they deserve. So now they want you to fail. So again, forget about that. Appreciate your femininity, appreciate the softness that we as women have, and pay attention to what the men are telling you, and you will succeed if that's what you want. If a marriage and a traditional family is what you want, listen to the men.
Absolutely. So much engagement tonight. Thank you so much. And ladies, especially, Lucy and I are not special, but what is fascinating to me, when we started this space, Lucy and I believe the older women should teach the young. You always hear me say, I don't believe I have a place to talk to men because I'm not a man. I'm a boy mom and I have a man, but to me, it's fascinating how much the men support us in this space. Some watching publicly, some watching privately. Thank you, Chadwick, for the support. So grateful. Thank you. But ladies, here's what I would tell you. If you're confused, if you're not sure, one of the things my man says is ask the men that you know and that you trust, your brothers, your uncles, your peers that you respect, and get their take on it. Because unfortunately, a lot of women will lead you down a path that, yeah, girl, you can do anything, be empowered, he's no smarter than you, he's no better than you. And then you're left with a life in shambles and you're wondering, how did I get here? And I see it, unfortunately, with women who come to us or come to our courses and that ship has sailed. Everything can't be fixed, ladies. You have a very short window. If you want a traditional relationship with a masculine man, this behavior that we saw tonight is not going to fly. So if you like to debate, if you're one of those people that's, got to get in there and prove how tough you are, they'll look at you and say, that's cute, and leave you right there. All right. So definitely one other shameless plug, and then we will close out. Lucy and I have another course coming up. We teach live. If you want wife lessons from two older women with relationship experience, you see the discount code in the link. Wife archetypes. The recordings are up, but we're going to teach it again live starting Saturday, March the 8th. It's a 4-week course, and we teach you what men expect, and we run our curriculum by the men that we respect. We have so many of them in our community giving us feedback on what is acceptable and what is not. So if you find yourself, you're not really making progress in your relationships and you think 50-50 is the way to go, not with the men that you actually want. All right, so thank you all so much. If I missed any feedback, I apologize, but tonight's a special night for Lucy. We're trying to get her to her anniversary lasagna. Thank you all so much for everything, and especially thank you to the men. So let me thank the donations tonight. Thank you, Swati, for the $10. We appreciate you. Thank you, Discipled One, for the $19.99. Thank you, Chadwick Frazier, for the $20 and for becoming a member. And Aaron Laura, you've been rocking with us for almost 3 years as a member. Yes, thank you. All right, so tonight's Wednesday, so we will be back with you all on Saturday. We already have it posted up, so this is on all of my pages. You can turn on your notifications. I think the topic for Saturday is respect him or lose him. All right, ladies. So if you want more of that, join us Saturday at 5 p.m. for more of the Let's Talk podcast. All right, everybody. Let's let you all have your evening, and we'll see you all next time. Until then, we say adios.